Okay, so what I think is, in all of that, I didn't stop recording, which is good. I can edit that out, no big deal. What we're about to do, since we're near top of descent, we're going to start prepping our aircraft for descent. So our flight restrictions are going to be, let me get over here and check it out. Our altitude is 6,000 or above, so we're going to go ahead and put this at 6,000. Okay, because there are 2 waypoints where we have to stay at 6,000 or above. So if I get there, we'll just stay there until it's time to drop. Oh, and I should have put our power control settings on climb. I did not. I overlooked that. My bad. Too busy talking to you. But we can put it on cruise, which it should be right now. All right, so we want to get our course. Our course should be for landing 351. There we go. So that's good. And this is at 35. All right, we'll just put it like that for now in case we have to switch. Oh, we're almost at top of descent. That's great. Let's see. Oh, yes. Our ILS frequency is going to be 10.5. So we got 0.5. There's 10. Switch it. All right. We are good to go. Let's take a look around, shall we? Hey, look, it's me. We should have turned our landing lights off, but we're breaking all the rules anyway, so we'll just leave them on. Because we're about to descend anyway, we're already, what, 6,000 above? We'll be down there in just a second. Okay, we're almost there. The learning curve for this aircraft, just getting accustomed to it, was a little difficult because it's the manuals that were printed for this are not, in my humble opinion, that much, but they're not that detailed, or they just throw a lot of information at you that you don't even know what it is. But to their credit, they did post videos on YouTube of tutorials of starting the aircraft, like that procedure where you're running the engine with the prop brake on. That was on there. And so, you know, I figured it out. And, you know, once you get the CDU is kind of Boeing-like, Boeing-esque. It's not on that level, but if you're used to a Boeing CDU, then this will be familiar. So that didn't take much. Okay, we are at top of descent. Let's go ahead and do this. All right, so we're going to put in our vertical speed, and we're going to make it 1,500, let's say 1,400 feet per minute. We're going to bring our throttles back a little bit, and we're going to change our power rating to MCT. So let's take a look at our speed. We're just like right at 250, which is perfect. Okay, so we're seem to be like kind of like the what I was going to say is the electronic flight bag that I have going on my other monitor, which I'll go ahead and show you. Let me bring it over here. It's right now saying this is where we are, and this is the flight restriction that I was telling you about 6,000 or above. And this also tells us our descent rate from top of descent and a recommended descent rate. So that's a way I can gauge, you know, what it is. Now that's not what you would have you could be doing in the real aircraft, but that's how I manage it with that, without the familiarity of that, you know, doing it on a device in the cockpit. I mean, you could calculate it. And there are days that I do that, but that's just so how I know what my descent rate should be, not having that functionality in the flight computer. Okay. This is electronic flight bag by Avlosoft. It's EFB version 2, by the way. If you're gonna get it, get this. You'll love it. There are competitors out there. This is the one I use, just so you know. And if you are a novice to Flight Simulator, what your electronic flight bag is when piloting earlier, you had a flight bag, and it had all your information, your charts, your plates. Sometimes they will call your plates are, you know, your departures and your arrivals to airports have these things called SIDS and stars. SIDS are for when you're leaving, and stars are when you're arriving. It's the way you fly into the airspace. All that stuff will go in your flight bag. Well, then with technology, they were like, well, why don't we put this on an iPad or, you know, or something electronic, and then it saves paper. Aside from it's easier to find stuff. So it's just really pilot convenience for situational awareness. And so this EFB, godsend, let me tell you, it really enhances your flight experience. So if you're new to flight simming and you're like, well, what do I do to really get in this and take it to the next level? Early on, must have, get your electronic flight bag. Do you want to use this version or another? As long as it's good. I've only used this, so I can really only speak to this. Okay, so we should be at 6,000 above, which we are, but we are at 11. So, but our descent rate is still not bad. You know, in fact, for what they're saying, we could bring it back a little bit. So I'm going to just go ahead and make it 2. Yeah, I'm going to bring it back to, now it's saying you're like, hey, you're too low, so I'm going to bring it to 1,000 feet per minute. They're recommending 1,800, so I'll leave it at 1,000. And so, yeah, this is definitely a program that you want to have for your flight experience. And I've noticed that a couple of people that are new to Flight Sim have left some comments on the channel. Thank you for joining. Please like and subscribe. Like I said, if you look at some of my early videos when I started this channel, I said that, well, what niche am I trying to fulfill? And really, I started this off as a channel for novices, because there are some heavy hitters in the flight sim world. There was Frugal. I don't want to say was. There is Frugal. Matt Davies. But the thing about it that I've noticed is sometimes that when you're having those discussions, they only make sense to people who have a good deal of background knowledge. And a lot of stuff might go over their head, because why? It went over my head when I first started listening to them. So I was like, I got to get my weight up. I have to research what they're talking about. But I didn't have a lot of people, or I didn't see a lot of videos that really focused on like new people and novices, and kind of being a little bit more explanatory to what some things are. And some things I don't get right, and I love it when people leave comments and give me feedback information, because, you know, as a professor, I'm a lifelong learner. You never know it all, you're always improving. So, you know, as long as people are polite, I welcome, you know, the tips. Like someone left on the channel on one of my tutorials for this airplane, and it was saying like, hey, the standard ascent rate for this plane when they're taking off is like 173 knots. So go ahead and lock it in on your IAS, and that'll take care of how fast you're going to climb. I was like, I really appreciate that. And so this other dude just recently was saying like, why do you use pushback when this plane can actually back up using its reverse prop pitch? And I was like, I didn't know they did that. And he was like, yeah, here's a video of it. And I was like, oh, which reminds me, I should have done that for this video. I forgot. Oh my gosh. But I'm like, hey, I appreciated the knowledge. So I just say all this to say I appreciate it. And so those of you who are new who have been tuning in, look at all these videos there. Read the comments. People put some really interesting stuff in there. And but then people who really are not novices like the channel too. And so I kind of bridge the gap. I try to do the study level stuff. I try to do some of the basic stuff. But one of the basic things that I am doing is getting you exposed to some of these regions that are off the beaten path. Hence, we're flying in Chile right now. Done some flights in Colombia, Brazil, Africa. Got to do some more in Africa. That's probably be next. I've found this great airport on an island in between Africa and Madagascar. I'm going to have to fly out of that or into that from Africa. So I'm going to be doing that really soon too. And some beautiful airports in Japan. Got to get Japan in there. That's a big country. It's an island, and it's cramped because there are a lot of people there, comparatively to a small geographic space. But there are a lot of airports, and there are a lot of great gems to fly in and out of, especially those island airports like Kobe. Love it. So you'll be seeing that too. All right, we're at 7,000. We're a little behind the 8-ball now, so we're going to go ahead and increase this to 6,000 feet per 1,600 feet per minute, and get down because we want to be at 3,000 feet. Well, it's 3,000 or above, but I'd prefer to be at 3,000 when the time comes. So as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and go to 800, and we can bring our props back if speed is the issue. Now, hopefully, we will get under this weather. Now, let me check one thing here. I did not check. Okay, so it is live weather. Sometimes it just switches to this automatically, and it just puts in practically zero visibility. Now, some people may not realize this, especially if you're in the United States and don't travel anywhere. The seasons have more. The reason you have seasons has to do with astronomy. So the Earth is an incline of about 23 degrees on its axis. So people will be like, well, in the wintertime, we're closer to the sun. No, actually, if you measure from the center of the Earth in our winter in North America, the Earth is actually closer to the sun in our winter than it is in the summer. So what's the deal? Well, it's the tilt of the Earth's axis. And the tilt is towards the sun in the summer, and it's away from the sun in the winter. So based on the angle that the sun hits the surface of the Earth, it warms it such that you have warmer weather, or cools it when it's tilted away. Well, that being said, below the equator, they're in fall, about to be winter, whereas we're about to be in summer. So this is consistent with fall weather. And I never really thought about that as a kid growing up, because I was like, what? There are places in the world where Christmas is in the summertime? That makes no sense. But it does, when you think about it from that aspect of things. Kind of cool. So, this is fall weather. So, I guess not too unrealistic. Now, maybe what I need to do, because we're now at 6,000 feet, great, we need to get down to 3. So let's go ahead and hit our IAS. Not our IAS, rather, but our vertical speed. And get on down. Now it's 3,000 or above, so we're fine there, though we're going to need to boogie. I'm going to bring the props back a little bit. In fact, we're going to go ahead and bring this down to 2,000. So we're a little high, but we can get down on it. It's not a recommended practice to come down on your ILS, but there are procedures for it depending on how far you have to go. Okay, I'm bringing this about little further back. Gear down. Might have been a little fast for that, but okay. Yeah, we were fast, but that's okay. I got my throttles back. I'm gonna leave them out because we already did it. Okay, I'm starting to see a little bit of ground there. We're getting down on our glide slope. That's good. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna now change this over to heading. We got to do this quickly. We're gonna change to heading. Then we're gonna go over here, and we're gonna move this to the ILS, and change this to VOR. There we go. And now we'll change this to nav. So now we're on, and as you can see, we now have our, great, the gear didn't come out until now anyway. Now, flaps. Right, we're getting our flaps. Give it a little more. There we go, we're good. And so we can go ahead. All right, okay, I'm taking control of my aircraft, because this does not have, you see I'm a little above the glide slope, but that's okay, I'm gonna get down on it. This does not have like category 3 landing, so no auto land. That's okay. Almost on the glide slope, runway in sight. Over a little bit. And someone actually gave me a tip on rudder about, like, I was flying into Hawaii and I was crabbing the aircraft, and it was like, hey, with the big boys, don't rudder your way in unless there's just a huge crosswind. Go ahead and, you know, fly it into you know, the lining up for the runway. And I was appreciating that tip. So I'm going to do that. And then, okay, so we're good. And we're just a little bit below the glide path. Correct for that. Oh, this is beautiful. And I don't know if any of you noticed this. It's beautiful and smooth as frickin' butter. I want to thank this smoothness to Adam Pestridge for really, you know, we got on his discourse and we talked through a lot of the settings, 500. And I had to work a whole lot of stuff out after that, just because of the uniqueness of, you know, every computer is different, and there's some idiosyncrasies of my computer I had to work through. But after I just started to believe in, you know, some of the settings that he was talking about, though they seem to work contrary to what I thought was working, if you reboot your computer once you make the settings and then go back in, not just go out of the program, but reboot, oh my gosh, this stuff really works. I'll have to talk about that sometime.
Minimum 200.
But at the same time, it's like he talks about it. I think he has videos on it, so I mean, why reinvent the wheel? I might recommend which ones to watch, but I might do a thing on it. I don't
100.
know. All right, here we go.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Awesome! All right. Okay, we will turn in here on Taxi Bravo. I know you're right now thinking, how did he know that that was Bravo? I don't see a sign. Because I got my EFB right here. I looked at it. It was like, oh yeah, that's Bravo. Flaps up. on, landing lights off. Let's get our marshaller. Okay, they don't have anything for this, so we'll go to GSX. And we'll just say gate number 2.
Let's check around your seat for any personal belongings you might have brought on board with you. And please use caution when opening the overhead bins. As safety articles.
Even GSX loading in before landing is just like, it used to just be choppy and cause stutters. Even that went quickly.
One of our crew members will then be pleased to assist. We remind you to please wait until set the terminal to use any electronic devices or to smoke in the designed areas. On behalf of our airline and the entire crew, I would like to thank you for joining us on this trip. We are looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Have a nice day.
Bring it over a bit. Parking brake. Cut engines. Open doors. Absolute, I don't know, this is going crazy. Absolutely excellent. I don't think we have animations for this, but I'll go ahead and request, deboarding. All right, there you have it. A successful flight to Pichoy, Valdiva in Chile. I really appreciate you tuning in for this. Thank you for let me know, do you like the regional series? Do you like the airports that I'm choosing? These, hidden gems, or are you more accustomed to just your traditional stuff? I have to balance it because I might think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And y'all be like, nah, just do the regular stuff. But from what I'm getting, you all are liking it. But please leave a comment, like and subscribe. Really supports the channel. Really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you in the virtual skies.